to ask you boys about Chelsea. They were linked. Well, we know they've made a financial offer to Victor Osimhen, but it's now been reported that PSG are advancing those conversations. They're also advanced negotiations for João Neves as well. That's a player that I really want United to get, but it looks like he's getting PSG. But it does appear that PSG will be making this move for Osimhen. Chelsea are trying to sign him, but some of the reports today suggest that PSG are going to get it done. How big a blow is this to Chelsea? I mean, they've signed Dewsbury Hall, they've signed Tosin, they've signed a lot of kids as well. Some of their fans, especially the guys in our group chat, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, and I hope Don doesn't get offended if he thinks I've said it wrong, but believe they've got one of the best squads in the Premier League. They believe they're almost a shoo-in for top four, even if they get injuries. They could even challenge potentially if they get no injuries to major players next year. Or do you believe that's an overstatement really from Chelsea fans? And it's the signings like Osimhen, like Nico Williams, they need to add to really make this team potent? Or do you think they could afford to miss out on these types of targets?
I mean, Chelsea fans are delusional to begin with. If they think that Osimhen wants to play Conference League, I don't think that's a thing.
Can I say my line, Hassan? Can I say my line?
Can I steal it?
It's my line. It is my line.
Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
No, but seriously, at the current moment, what Chelsea has is the name, the color blue, and just London over everyone else. That's it. That's all what they have.
Oh my God.
There is nothing else. They have an unknown. I'm going to tell you something. Until this current moment, I don't think Osimhen knows who Maresca is. He just doesn't know the guy until this current moment. By the way, it's not a dig. It's not a dig.
Yeah, it's not a dig. You just called them a blue club from London, but it's not a dig. Yeah, go ahead.
Bro, they have. Sam, just let me explain to you this. It's very simple. If PSG have Champions League, have the money, Chelsea have the money as well. PSG have the fame as well. They don't have the Premier League though. Okay, they don't have the Premier League. But it looks like players are favoring the Champions League clubs over Chelsea. It's very simple, right? And that's fair because 2 years out of the Champions League, finishing 12 and finishing 6 is hurting you. Olise, Osimhen, I don't know who else are you going to be linked to. The facts are you had one manager that at least had the name to call players on the phone and tell them, come join me. A guy that coached the top clubs, Spurs, PSG. You literally got rid of that name and you got someone who, if he raises the phone, right, and calls Victor Osimhen and says, by the way, this is Enzo Maresca. Osimhen says, I'm sorry, who's this? Who are you? But this is reality, Hussam. You know what I'm talking about, right? That is what Chelsea doesn't have. It doesn't matter if you think Pochettino is a big name or not. I'm going to tell you something. Erik Ten Hag is a name that is established in world football. In the Champions League semi-final with Ajax, won the leagues. Everyone knows Erik Ten Hag. In the world, he has a name. Chelsea got rid of the name, and a name is a big thing. A name is a big thing, right? A big thing. No one knows who Maresca is, and that's a big deal. Chelsea have London, which is the color blue, and you have the name. That's it. That's why Victor Osimhen will choose maybe PSG over that. It's not about winning. And people just think this is the dig at Chelsea. You put yourself in this position by, listen, Arteta was even a player. Why Chelsea fans? This is the reality. Who's Enzo Maresca attracting? By the way, Erik Ten Hag still have a name.
Look, I need to interject here. Now, look, let me preface this by saying I don't agree with Don that the squad is as good as he is saying. And the reason that I say that is some of that's based on I don't know if the quality is quite there. Some of it is I don't know if the availability is quite there. So the jury's out on the availability of the Reece Jameses, the Nkunku's, even to a degree Lavia. When someone misses, I'm keeping that same energy, by the way, for Malacia in the Man United team. I don't think he's as talented as those guys, but he spent a whole year out. I'm not thinking, right, he's back next year. You could argue Lisandro Martinez, but that's a little different. He broke a bone in his foot, and our medical team didn't check the X-ray properly, and he came back and it was still broke. And then he came back and someone fell on his knee. Like, I don't look at that as the same, but I hear the challenge. But I don't think Chelsea have lost their pull. Where I will agree with Don and Chez and a lot of Chelsea fans, I don't believe they're just from London and blue. They're still a gigantic football club. They still have some very good players at their team. They're still a member of the sort of Premier League's top 6. Yes, they don't have Champions League football, but nor do Man United. We've just signed Lenny Yoro. Nor do Man United, and we've just taken Xerxes away from people. Ivan Toney's interested in joining us. Ugarte is willing to leave PSG and join Man United. Now, yes, we're bigger than Chelsea, but I think we're being so disingenuous in this idea that Chelsea are done, finished, they're no longer at the top, they can't attract anybody. Yes, this season, they're not in the Champions League. But I think they could. It doesn't mean they will, but they could turn around to someone like an Osimhen. With him joining, there's far more chance of them becoming a Champions League team again. Surely. If he was there last year, he would have scored double the goals that Jackson did. They probably would have made the top 4. They might have even won a trophy up against Liverpool. So I don't think Chelsea are 100 million miles away. I don't think they're quite as good as some Chelsea fans are making them out to be. There's still a lot that needs to be. I could be wrong about that, but I think they need to prove a lot more.
Yeah, but Terrace, there are too many
this idea that Chelsea are finished, I think, is a massive overstatement.
No one said that. No one said that.
There are too many.
You did. Hang on. No.
1 second.
Hold on. I never said that.
Hang on. You did. You said. Hang on a minute. You said all they are is blue and from London. That is saying they're finished, bro. Come on.
No, they're not. I'm gonna tell you, they have good players, but they need to go back. Hold on. They need to go back with the players they have to be able to attract big names. Why did Olise choose Barman? I'm gonna tell you something. Arsenal, Liverpool at the current moment, and no one comes back with the Caicedo thing. That was last season, which is Terry's point. When they maybe last season when they went to Caicedo and said, Caicedo, you are the piece that will bring us to the glory. 2 years now in, they are not back. They have an unknown manager, with all due respect, that we don't know anything about, right? Based on you guys do the research. I didn't do the research on Enzo Maresca, right? It's Chelsea's fans' job. They have, at the current moment, they have a good team. And I said, someone like Osimhen will raise them. But the problem is attracting Osimhen. I said Olise will take them to the next level. The problem is that Olise didn't come. That is the problem. And that's what you guys are missing, Terry, is that you need to be able to attract these guys. And it doesn't look like they are able to attract these players. That is the problem. And by the way, I'm not saying that Osimhen wouldn't go there over Napoli, staying with Antonio Conte. But if any club, I'm going to say this here, if any club with a Champions League football go in the same line of a player that Chelsea wants, that player might choose Chelsea, might choose the other club. That is the deal. If Arsenal go in with Chelsea, they might choose Arsenal, Bayern Munich, PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal. By the way, Chelsea had more pull than Arsenal just about some years ago, right? Just 3-4 years ago. I don't think there's a comparison now between the two clubs in terms of
there isn't.
Manager,
manager.
Can I add one point before Hassan comes in? Manager and players. I am saying that the only established players with the name that everyone knows around in the world right now at Chelsea, I'm thinking about it, think again, is one player. Cole Palmer, because of what he did last season. Liverpool, if you're asking me about Liverpool, Mo Salah, Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, even McAllister. At the current moment, the only name at Chelsea where you can be able to attract a talent and say, come and play with this guy, is Cole Palmer. Even Caicedo, by the way, is a good name, but he isn't of that ilk of the Van Dijks and these guys.
And Mo, think about Chelsea in their signings as well. That's why they're signing Estevao, Paez, Tosin Adarabioyo, and Dewsbury Hall. Because Dewsbury Hall would have never thought he could make it at Chelsea to begin with. Tosin Adarabioyo, if Chelsea didn't come in for him, would have probably signed for Crystal Palace. That's just the reality of the situation of the Chelsea players right now. And people get upset when we speak because they just want to hear comfortable lies instead of uncomfortable truth. The reality is Osimhen is not going to Chelsea, guys. Like, with all due respect, first of all, the fact that you even bring Arsenal's name, Mo, is insulting to Arsenal. Like, Arsenal are in a different galaxy to Chelsea right now. Like, I think if you lined up 100 players and asked them Arsenal or Chelsea, they're all going to choose Arsenal. Everyone knows Arteta. Everyone knows the players that they have. And the thing is, with what Terry was saying, the problem is, I get what Terry's saying. And he's saying Mo's gone too far when they say, he did indirectly say they're finished. The issue is the following. There are too many question marks. And if you do sign for Chelsea, you're going to end up having to sign a 4-year contract or a 5-year contract. Let's be real now, do you put your whole future at the hands of Bowley, Iqbali, Win Stanley Stewart, and Leicester City championship winning manager Enzo Maresca? That's who you're going to put your future in as Victor Osimhen? Because let's not forget as well, how old is Osimhen right now? I swear he's 25. Let me just check it quickly. 26, yeah? So basically, he's 25. He turns 26 in December. So he's going to turn 26 in about 4 or 5 months. So essentially what's happening is you're going to put your prime in the hands of these clowns that run Chelsea. Let's think about this logically now, no agendas. Would you trust your prime in the hands of Bowley and Iqbali? You probably wouldn't.
If I was advising Osimhen, I would tell him to join Chelsea now over PSG.
Why?
Well, I mean, look, they might win the Champions League, but they haven't done it with better squads and teams than they've got now. There is almost zero legacy for you in the game winning the French league at a canter. No one cares. Like Mbappe, if it wasn't for the fact, if Mbappe weren't doing for France what he'd done for France up until the Euros, he had a poor Euros, and he was just killing it. He was scoring a lot of goals in the Champions League as well, which helped him. But it's his French career that has propelled him to superstardom, because no one cares about what Mbappe was doing in France. Whether we like it or not, no one cares. Osimhen going to the French league, yes, good move. Yes, on some Champions League nights, we'll get a bit of attention. But he gets far more credibility through being in Serie A, playing for Napoli. The French league, it's so small in comparison to the bigger leagues in Europe. And I don't mean that in a rude way. It's just the reality of the situation. There's very good footballers in France, wonderful technicians. I've watched a bit of French football this last year, more than I normally do, and it's entertaining. But I'm just talking about it from a legacy perspective. You could go there and score 150 goals. It's not going to do much for his career unless he's winning Champions Leagues. I think if he goes to Chelsea, yes, right now Chelsea are not where PSG are, but players like him could help get Chelsea back right up to the top. And if I was his advisor,
why not just stay at Napoli then with Conte?
I mean, that's
doesn't want him, bro.
No, but yeah, that's part of it. I understand wanting a change, though. I understand wanting a change. I just feel that going to France, it doesn't excite me. Now, I don't want him at Chelsea as a Man United.
I don't want to see it. You're right. You're right. The problem with, will he choose that? If you're, by the way, I'm in your boat. I want to see Osimhen play for Chelsea Football Club. I watch the Premier League. No one wakes up and watch the French league. Yeah, because you're a rival. Like at the end, if I'm talking about football, I want to talk about Osimhen playing for Chelsea. Yes, I don't want. Probably once this season or twice this season, I'm going to be sitting on the football terrace doing a match reaction for the Champions League without talking about Osimhen. I want to be talking about Osimhen week in, week out, which is what a legacy is, the news and all the stuff. But at the end, the problem is the players don't think like that. Don't think like this. They're going to think, I want to play Champions League. Is it guaranteed that I join this unknown manager, this project? Yeah, the players are good. Maybe Osimhen completes that team. Is he thinking about it this way? Olise didn't think about it this way. Olise didn't. Will other players think about it this way? Am I the guy who completes this team, or am I risking my future with this team? That is it. Players, I don't think they think like that. And PSG are financially compatible with the Premier League. It's probably the only team, along with Bayern Munich. Listen, Chelsea, the thing about it, I'm going to say it. Chelsea need to do an Arsenal. Do it the hard way. Go back to the top the hard way. Arsenal did it the hard way with the Sakas, the Martinellis. Remember, getting Odegaard on loan, then signing him, getting Saliba as a youngster, and then loaning him, bringing him back. Maybe Chelsea need to do that. Maybe Chelsea need to do it the tough way, not the easy way, not signing the superstars. Because you tried the superstars, it didn't work out. You didn't finish in the top four.
But that's why I quite like the Dewsbury Hall and the toss-in signings. I actually think they're really good. They're good age profile, good technicians. And I almost think they're sort of like, I don't want to use the word under the radar, because I think they're better than that. I just think they need a few more. I know they have some experience at the club already, but I'm not sure about their availability. But I'm looking at the links. There's talk of Nico Williams. And I know everyone keeps saying Barca are getting him, but they don't have a great deal of money. I think they need a couple of really good players as well that are maybe a level or two up.
Tony. I swear,
Ivan
Tony.
I don't understand.
Ivan
Man United.
Tony.
Listen. Ivan Tony, barring City, starts for every single top 6 team in the Premier League. He's a better number 9 than everybody else is in the Premier League. I can't fathom.
I don't get it. Why aren't Chelsea
why
putting
people are
that?
trying to buy him?
I don't know. But he has an attitude. People don't want to deal with the attitude. You're getting a football player who's going to play the next 2-3 years at your club, and then I think Chelsea should go away for Ivan Toney, 40 million, fork the money, and that's it. Anyway.
Just to let